from the grave, Austin and John here. What the fuck's going on, everybody? John, my man, welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, man?
Fucking good. Did you enjoy your break?
No.
No. How was your 4th of July weekend?
Oh, that went great. It
Yeah?
went lots of, fireworks, beer, good times. You know how it goes.
Shit, yeah. You went up to, you went and watched the show in Dahlonega, didn't you?
Yeah, over at UNG, yeah.
Yeah. I put on our Instagram a couple of spots on the Square Dahlonega that you can go check out that we might have some collaborations going on here pretty soon with.
Yeah. I'm excited about those.
Yeah, so we'll apologize, guys. We missed an episode last week. You guys know how it is, battling COVID, all that kind of stuff. But here we are, both of us together, bringing you the Hannah Truelove episode. You ready, John?
Let's do it.
Alright, so if you guys follow us on TikTok, then you know we already went and visited the grave. And prior to our research, we did not know that Hannah's mother is actually buried in the same plot as her. And for you guys that aren't familiar, it doesn't mean they're buried side by side. They're literally buried on top of each other. They share the same plot. One of them has a headstone with their name, which is Hannah. And then the mother, who died at a later date, has a footstone, who died at the most previous date.
Right.
So the case with Hannah Truelove is that in 2012, August 24th, she was found deceased at 16 years old. She was a student at Gainesville High School, and her murder is going to be featured in a upcoming film called Lanier. And the same producers are also coming out with a docu-series called Surviving Lanier. And so shout out to them. This is a little plug to them. But basically, this is a cold case. Her murderer has still not been caught. And there's a lot of theories surrounding her death. Mainly, the first weird one is the fact that she was reported missing, and the police searched her whole entire apartment complex the day that she was reported missing. Well, the next day, her body was found in a spot that the police had already searched. So her body literally was found where they had already looked.
So basically what you're saying is she was murdered somewhere else and then brought back pretty much almost to her house.
I mean, that's the only conclusion we can come up with. Or
so do you think maybe the killer has a little sympathy for that person? Like maybe like it was someone she knew?
See, that's where it gets a little weird. See, it's funny you dive into that. Is why, if you did kill the victim away from their house, why take them back to their house? It adds a more eerie, cynical motive to the situation.
Especially if you kill somebody, you obviously want to get by with it,
yeah,
right?
You want to fucking get away with it. Yeah.
So you would try to hide the body as best as you can.
So why take the body back?
Exactly.
So the only other option that we have is police negligence. The police say they searched that area,
but did they really?
But did anybody really look over there? Did they have a dog over there searching? And then, as far as the investigation proceeds, that night where she was reported missing, police did the search, there was a heavy rainfall, and then her body was discovered. And here's what doesn't make sense. So if they searched that area, she wasn't found, but it rained that night, all the evidence is gone. They say the rain washed all the evidence
So
away.
like footprints and mud.
Exactly. There's no slide marks indicating she was dragged. There's no DNA, supposedly. And so it gets a little spicy there. It's kind of like, what the fuck are we missing here? Where's this shit headed?
If they did use canines, did they use the correct canines? Because there's different sorts of canines that police officers use.
You're correct.
So you have cadaver canines.
Mm-hmm.
You have drug sniffing canines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have different varieties.
And bomb canines. But so we'll get into a little bit about the history of Hannah, sort of, in a way. Her parents were divorced. She lived with her mother. Her parents' names are Mona Harris and Jeff Truelove. Mona is the mother who is buried with her, and you can find that on her TikTok. So Mona is the one that reported her daughter missing. So Hannah lives with Mona. They live in an apartment, Lake Lanier Club. It's now called the it's the M88 Apartments on Lake Lanier. Now, not to dive too far away, Lake Lanier, one of the most popular visited lakes in America, one of the most haunted. It's definitely been popping up on social media. We're privileged to have access to it. We're going to get to Lake Lanier later in this video to let you guys know what we got up and coming. It's going to be pretty damn fun.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'm excited about that one.
So, Mona and Hannah, they live in this apartment complex. Mona, she's a restaurant worker. She works late nights. She comes home, and Hannah's not there. She doesn't think anything about it because it's frequent that Hannah's dad will come and pick her up and take them out to eat, or they'll go out to eat together.
So the mother and father are divorced.
They're divorced. They're separated. It's the mother and Hannah living in the apartments. And so the mother's tired, exhausted from work. She comes home. Her daughter's not there. She's 16. She maybe thinks like, hey, she just didn't. Because this is back in 2012. This is back. I mean, this girl's younger than me and you. So
yeah, like,
you know. Texting's a thing, but she thinks, oh, she just failed to let me know. It's not that serious. It's happened before. She went to go out eat with her dad. Well, the next day she wakes up, and this is the 24th, or this is the 23rd. This is when she's reported missing, on the 23rd. Hannah's not there. Calls the dad. The dad's like, I haven't had any contact with her. She hasn't texted me. She hasn't called me. I've not heard from her. I have not seen her. So then the mom's like, well, fuck. 24 hours, we gotta call the police, missing person report filed, and then that's when they start the investigation. During the investigation, police are interviewing people around the apartment complex, and there's misguided stories either way. There's only two solid stories, and you don't really know if they're concrete. One, a silver sedan pulls up to the apartment complex toward the back area. Now, when we do our YouTube video on this, we'll show you a diagram of the apartment complex. But in the apartment complex, there's this back area. It's a field area. Kids go out to it. They play football, whatever. Then it goes into a real thick, dense wooded area that leads down into the lake. Well, parking lot next to this field. They see a witness sees a silver sedan full of people, but see, in the report, the people aren't identified. Male, female, black, white, yellow, purple, nothing's identified. However, it's noted that a black male exits the rear of the vehicle, meets up with Hannah, walks across the field, and goes down into the woods where her body's found.
So that's very suspicious right there.
And supposedly, that's the last place she's seen. However, police didn't take that serious because then now this is like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Well, then somebody toots their horn up and they're like, oh, I seen her at 2 o'clock that afternoon just walking through the apartment complex. So then they just automatically dismissed the sedan.
And the guy that she was with.
Exactly.
So normally, police would want to talk to the last person that victim had contact with.
But there's no tag, there's no description, there's nothing. And it's 2012. Security cameras, CCTV, all that is, you know, how it was back then is not very prominent. Like, there's not a whole lot of that shit going on. I mean, there's not even, especially where we are, we know about Hall County. They just got body cams 2 years ago. They had those little fucking black and white dash cams up until 2 years ago.
And back then, the camera footage alone would probably be blurry, fuzzy. It's not like the quality we have nowadays. Exactly.
So, those are the only two witness statements that, I mean, that's all there is. That's all anybody has to go on. There was, now I followed up with this story on Reddit. And you can find us on Reddit from the Grave Media. We have a profile on there too. However, followed up with this story on Reddit, and there was this one guy who supposedly posted on a Facebook memorial for Hannah that there is this child molester or this creepy, weird dude that the apartment lived in the apartment complex that the police should check out. They did check out into it. The guy was a sex offender, but he came up clean. There was nothing that tied him. He had an alibi, all that good stuff. And here we are. We're almost like 12, 13 minutes into this, and we haven't even discussed how Hannah was murdered. Yeah. So, Hannah was murdered brutally. She was stabbed the fuck up. 26 plus times, stab wounds.
So, a lot of aggression.
Yes. Like, this was, as we know with stab victims, this was personal. This was not an opportunity killing kind of deal. Like, you're not just walking around in the woods with a knife expecting to kill somebody. This was like they either met in those woods, or like we said earlier, she was killed in a different location, and then her body was dropped off.
And what that means, stab wounds, you can almost say either it's someone that had a huge grudge on her, or maybe someone in her family, and because that takes 26 plus stab wounds, that takes a lot of energy.
Well,
to stab somebody that many times. The
person that did it was either in a full-on fucking rage, or they wanted to make sure she was fucking dead. There's no other way around that. But then the media. So, like, the big thing with this case and this story, and what the media kind of foreshadowed, was she was getting stalked because she had a Twitter account, and you can still go look on her Twitter. You can still go read her Twitter, or you can still go read her tweets on her Twitter account. She had tweeted not too long before her murder that she had herself an ugly ass stalker. And then shortly after that, she tweeted, "I need to get the fuck out of these apartments."
So something scared her.
That's what everybody thought. But then, talking to her friends and doing interviews, it comes out that the ugly-ass stalker was just some guy that was just flirting with her at school, which still could be a murder suspect. But you can't take the tweet that serious that it was somebody at the apartment complex. The two tweets don't tie in together. It was somebody at school that she didn't think was, worthy of her, and she was being a teenage girl, basically just saying, like, "Oh, this ugly-ass guy won't leave me the fuck alone." Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we all been through high school. You know how it works.
And then you got the, "I need to get away from my house." Well, the tweets she was sending out, so investigators found out she was sending those tweets through a Nintendo DS because her mom had got onto her, grounded her, and took her cell phone away. So therefore, she was saying she needed to get out of those apartments because she wanted to move away from her mom. She wanted her independence. She wanted her freedom. So that's like where that whole Twitter thing comes into fucking play. It's just like the media, they pounced on that and they were like, "Oh, she got
twisted it."
Apartment." Yeah. And then it took away from the whole entire story.
Yeah, when really she's just being a normal teenager.
And then now there is another story that I found on Reddit where they were claiming that she was pregnant.
But is there any proof of that?
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that, John. I tried to get the open record. I did an open records request on her case, and since it's an open case, we don't have access to any of it.
Right.
And so the reason people think she was pregnant is because on her Twitter, she was making accusations. "Oh, my stomach's hurting." Just little insinuations that she was pregnant. Talking about wanting to be pregnant. Just, childish shit 16-year-olds do. Whether it was real or not, who knows? But a motive for that theory makes sense. Because if she had told her boyfriend or the guy that she was involved with that she was pregnant, that's good grounds for murder.
Especially if you're a teenager, you can, because myself, I had our son me and my ex-wife's son in high school. And it's a very scary situation. You're still a kid yourself, and you're trying to figure out, how you don't raise another kid. And so I can understand the fear that someone could have, and everybody takes it differently, and you never know. The guy could have been like, "Oh, I don't want this to happen."
You have hormonal thoughts. You have irrational thoughts.
Yes.
And then, teenagers are compulsive, and that's why it's hard to convict a developing brain of murder, is because they don't have a good sense of reality. So I think somebody definitely fucking knows what's going on. Somebody knows who murdered this chick.
Absolutely. So this is what I think. Okay, you have the potential boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So you have him. She was possibly pregnant. Okay? You have maybe someone at school. Maybe she had a fight with someone before, and it just turned into someone being like, you know what? Fuck this bitch. I'm gonna kill her. That shit happens all the time. People get so angry, and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna kill him. And they think that's the best thing to do. But what gets me is it's a murder that she was killed somewhere else, in my opinion.
Okay.
And then
I don't disagree with that. I just don't know. And it's poor policing and poor investigation on their part. But based on what the investigators are telling us, your theory is what's more than likely.
Right. And to me, if you kill somebody and you bring them back, especially right behind
where they fucking live.
Where they live. For one, whoever did that has some balls. Because I wouldn't be fucking carrying a damn dead body anywhere. That's a good way to get caught. But it had to be someone that maybe felt bad after. Maybe it was someone that she was close to. Maybe a family member. You never know. Because there's no fucking evidence.
Now, I'm gonna play devil's advocate to you right now.
Okay.
So, now there's no... You can research this shit as much as we have. You can stay up all fucking night, all fucking day. The police are not going to give you any information. So it's all speculation, and that's what makes this case so interesting, and why I don't understand why it's not a nationally recognized case. But hopefully through this podcast and hopefully through our program, we can shed some light on this. And whether it's due to poor investigation or maybe somebody letting some information slip through the cracks or some corruption, we can bring light to this situation, because this is a very solvable case. There's been more solvable cases that have been brought to light than this fucking case. So it just, somebody fucking knows something out there. And hopefully we don't get killed for this. This is our very first controversial, story.
Everyone dies eventually, right?
Yeah, everyone dies in the end. So now I'm going to play devil's advocate. So the police never released a time of death or a date that she was dead. They just claimed that the day she was found is the day that she died, which is plausible early morning hours. After the investigation and the police leave, maybe she was back in those woods. The police leave, and she's sketched out whether she wants to go home or not. Her murder victim, who's underage, is scared to get in trouble and just kills her behind her house after the police leave.
Yeah, because she did talk about wanting to leave.
Exactly.
So maybe she was running away, hiding out and, kind of...
Exactly.
Planning her escape. And then she saw the police and was like, oh, maybe they're here for me, trying to find me.
Or her boyfriend was overage and she was underage, so maybe she had a mature boyfriend.
And was going to run off.
And then was going to run off with that boyfriend, and then he got caught in that situation, and she was like, I can't go home. Maybe a panic attack, freaked the fuck out. And he was like, fuck no, I'm not going to jail, and then just ended it right there. And maybe it's something her friends didn't know. Maybe nobody really knows who this person was. Maybe it was a secret relationship.
Or, okay, let's say she talked about running away. Went into the woods, police come. Her boyfriend, lover, whatever he was already waiting there for her. Police come. They hide out in the woods. They leave. And right before they leave and run away together, she possibly breaks the news of her being pregnant. And he freaks out.
Exactly. It's got to be something.
And gets angry. Because
lines.
Maybe he was like, okay, well, were you ever going to like tell me? And got angry. And maybe he didn't want that and was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to take care of this.
Or maybe he was scared he was already going to get in legal trouble because he had sex with a minor. Who the fuck knows?
Exactly.
But also, there is another topic within her situation that we have not discussed. Based on interviews with her friends, she was well known to hang out with individuals that were involved in gang activity. So, here we are on another spectrum with another concern. She was a victim of gang violence.
And that can go down a ton of rabbit holes when it comes to gang violence. It could
Exactly.
be drugs. It could, I mean, just maybe she snitched on someone. She saw something that went down and thought about going to the police.
Maybe it was an initiation murder. Maybe it was a gang rape gone wrong.
It could be so many things when it comes to that.
Exactly. You don't fucking know. But there was just so much. And, you know, we can't find out whether the only way we can figure out if the pregnancy theory, which seems the most plausible, is correct, is if the case is ever closed, and then we get the medical records.
Yeah.
The autopsy. That's the only way we can figure that out. But, nevertheless, it is fucking horrible. A young life, younger than us, gone way too fucking soon. Met her demise far too young. It is just sad. But I don't know. I don't think we're gonna leave this case. This is kind of an open-ended conversation with just like kind of like hit or miss points on it. We visited her grave. Me and my wife did. John wasn't a part of that. I don't know why. I forgot what was going on. But so she's buried at Timber Ridge Cemetery, which there's a church. So you're going down this long stretch of road. The church is on the left. You have the old cemetery that's by the church. Across the street is literally 2 football fields worth of graves. From old to new to cool to dilapidated to whatever. And I have a lot of that photography on our Instagram. If you haven't already, go check it out from the Grave Media. Badass shit. But we walked. So we were like, oh, okay, the old cemetery's by the church. We literally walked behind the tombstones, never looked in front of them, and we were like, oh, these are cool, whatever. Didn't pay them no attention. Got plenty of photography of old cemeteries. It wasn't what we were there for. We wanted to find Hannah. That was our purpose. We wanted to find Hannah that day. So then we began. We walked this 2 football field lengths of fucking graves.
Yeah.
Row up and row down and row up and row down. And I get sunburnt as fuck.
I heard about that.
And we can't fucking find it. And then my wife's like, she's fucking irritated. She's like, you said that she was here. I'm like, she is here. That's what the fucking internet says. She's here. Unless they moved her tombstone. And which is crazy because down at the very end in the corner, we did find a plot where a tombstone was removed. And we were about to leave. And we were like, this must have been it. Maybe she was relocated. Maybe somebody defaced her stone and it was gonna, they were gonna bring out a new one or whatever the case may be. We were like, all right, we'll do some more research and we'll follow it later. We start heading back to the car and I just stop and I'm like, maybe I fucking missed something. So here I go. I back up and down. I'm going row to row, row to row. Fucking every fucking tombstone. I'm like, no, because it already took me almost like 4 or 5 days to get out there. And I was like, I don't know if I might have another opportunity anytime soon to be able to get out here. So I'm up and down, up and down, up and down. So finally I just stop in the middle of the cemetery, heat blazing down on me. I get on my phone and I get on the website and it starts showing me graves, like tombstones that were around her grave. And I remember the name. Buttersworth. I can't make this shit up.
That's a pretty cool name though.
Buttersworth. And it was on the back of one of those stones in the old cemetery. And I was like, you know what? Gordy was coming down. She was coming to pick me up. I get in the car. And then we drive back down the old cemetery. I was like, she's down here. She's next to that Buttersworth memorial. Sure fucking enough, get out, walk around into the actual old cemetery, and there her fucking grave is with the fucking, her little picture and the Hello Kitty insignia. And then that's when we find out her mother is buried on top of her.
Which I did not know that.
Her real name's
people do that.
Ramona Harris. You didn't know people did that?
No.
My great grandmother's buried on top of my grandfather up in the Veterans Memorial at Memorial Park.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, it's that's actually a thing, and a lot of times and that's like Courtney's grandmother's going to be buried on top of her grandfather. What it is a lot of the times when you see those stones and it says Mr. and Mrs., it's not two plots side by side, it's one plot in the middle, and they're stacked on top of each other. So one of them's actually 12 foot down, and then the other one's 6 foot down.
That is really cool.
Yeah, man. Well, I think that about does it for our Hannah Truelove story right here this far.
We do have a little funny story that happened yesterday when you went to the doctor, though.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little
extra clip. So I gotta go get a COVID test for work, right? And we're not gonna get into what I do, or we're not gonna get into what John does. However, it's one of those drive-throughs, but it's not really a drive-through. They got a trailer with two windows you walk up to for them to give you your test. And I'm talking to John. We're doing our morning meeting.
Oh yeah,
on the phone, and I walk up to the window. They're doing my test, and I say, John, hang on, she's about to do this test. He goes, okay. Well, he hears the nurse. The nurse is talking to me, and she was like, you work at so-and-so? And I was like, yeah. And then she said something. And then she was like, oh, well, what do you do? And then I was like, well, I work here. Like, I didn't want to go into it. And then she was like, oh, okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense because it was asking me for a password to get into your file. And John goes, yeah, you better tell that bitch to thank you for your service. And he didn't realize that it was on speaker.
No, because
you fucking idiot.
This guy didn't even. Normally, if you put someone on speaker, you say, "Hey, you're on speaker," and he knows I will say some random dumb shit all the time.
It was just fucking stupid, but it was a good laugh. And then I apologized to her, and she said, "Oh no, it's good. I'm not even paying attention. I'm not listening." So.
Oh, she definitely was listening.
Yeah, she definitely fucking heard that shit.
And I instantly, as soon as you said you're on speaker and you told me that she heard me, I instantly felt like shit. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that sucked.
That was fucking awful. But, hey, man.
Made for a good laugh, though.
Yeah.
Maybe not for her so much, but for us.
What else you got going on in your life, man?
Actually, looking for another job, actually.
Yeah.
That's going.
Yep. We both are. Not because of the previous incident. We didn't get fired.
No.
Yeah, we're looking for a change of pace, looking for a change of just something different.
That and looking for an apartment, you know how it is. Just trying to go through life and figure it out one step at a time.
Yeah, man. Life's a fucking bitch.
Oh, yeah.
What else we got going on? What do we got coming up next? I don't even think we've talked about it.
I'm pretty sure what's coming up next is the whole Lake Lanier.
Oh, yeah. That was not staged. I really just fucking forgot. I did mention that earlier in the video, or the podcast.
Because I'm so excited about what we have coming up, actually.
Okay, so we're not ready to launch our YouTube channel yet. We do have a couple of video ideas, and we have some very, very special guests lined up. With access to some very cool properties and interviews and whatnot have you. But before we even get to our YouTube channel and get to our launch of our YouTube channel, we want to try something out. We're going to do a podcast, and we may even be able to make it live. I don't know if we're going to do it on Twitch or what platform we're going to use yet. But we're going to go live, and we're going to do a podcast on Lake Lanier as we camp at one of the most haunted places on the lake where one of the original stories of the Lady of the Lake has emerged.
Oh, and we're definitely going to talk about the Lady of the Lake.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's a very eerie place. We talked about it in our first episode a little bit. It's going to be fucking gnarly. And John, I've stayed the night on the lake, and I have my own experiences and my own stories, but it's going to be new and something adventurous because John has not done that yet. He's been on the lake, but he hasn't spent the night on the lake.
Nope. So I'm excited about it. I really am.
The hard part's going to be keeping his ass up late enough to actually do the podcast. That's going to be the problem.
Oh, God.
Gonna have to get some fucking rock star injections.
Right? Hey, I like to go to sleep. I know I am a night owl sometimes.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey, if we start drinking, I'm done.
Yeah, it'll have to be a sober episode, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which we recommend. Stay sober, kids. Don't do drugs. Say no to drugs. But I think that concludes this episode. We got you guys something to look forward to. Check out all of our other social medias: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, @FromTheGraveMedia. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to all our family and friends that are listening and tuning in. You can reach us by email, fromthegravemedia@gmail.com. If you want to do a collaboration, if you want to give us a story to cover, if you just want to get in touch with us and tell us we fucking suck, whatever the case may be, that's how you can reach us. And of course, we'll read our DMs on our social medias too. But other than that, John, take it away.
Remember,
we're all dying in the end.
We're all gonna die in the end. You'll have a good one.